Welcome to Dharma in Pyjamas, which is like 2 Wednesdays on and 1 Wednesday off. So a little bit confusing which Wednesday it is, but who knows what day it is anyway. They all melt into one, don't they? So let's, we're going to, the topic for today is how to sing your heart out in puja. So if you've ever been to a puja, you might have found that after the first 20 minutes or so, you just have a coughing fit and you can't keep on singing. Or you may be really terrified about coming to puja because you kind of feel it's like public speaking. Everyone's going to be looking at you or listening to you and you're really, really shy. Or you might have kind of really liked pujas, but someone's teased you or belittled you about your singing and it's just like collapsed your confidence, or you might have been teased at school that, oh, you can't sing or whatever, and so it's just put you right off. Or else you might think, oh, you know, pujas they're just this weird kind of hokey ceremony. It all sounds a little bit like abracadabra. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, so I thought today's topic is how to sing your heart out at puja, or basically how to sing your heart in at puja. So what we can do is set our motivation, that we have a motivation of sincerity with good-heartedness and curiosity to develop our wisdom. What we'll need is a straw and a pencil. And if you don't have a straw, then a piece of paper and some sticky tape, but we'll get there in a moment. So when we have a puja, you know, the offering ceremony, and we're chanting together, the umze, which is the chant leader for the puja, is kind of like the concert master. And actually in a puja, it is a concert in the actual, you know, the meaning of the term, meaning we're harmoniously together, we're in concert. And by singing together and participating together, we're literally creating harmony. So whether we physically create harmony with our voice actually doesn't matter. What we're doing is we're creating a spiritual harmony by participating together. And when people do anything together, whether it's singing or dancing or even just reading or doing crosswords together in a group, your heartbeats start synchronizing. So it does literally create harmony. It creates a sense of togetherness. So when you're in a puja and all chanting together, it really creates it very strongly. And you might know that sometimes in puja, it takes a while to kind of focus, and then suddenly you're there and you're in the zone. And that's actually when everybody's heartbeats have synchronized, and now you're all there creating this resonance together. So they say that like this is really powerful, because it's just like if you're trying to sweep a room with one stick, nothing much happens. Or you put a whole lot of sticks together and now you've got a broom and you sweep the room with a broom, boom, out go all of the disturbing emotions, the distractions, the obstacles. So why do we actually even have pujas? Really important to remove obstacles, to create that or put fuel back in the tank, to create energy for us, and to remove obstacles. So putting the fuel back in the tank, it's really like, you know, many times we feel we're just, you know, we're just trying to power along by ourselves, and it takes a huge amount of energy, and we forget that we have the spiritual community to help us, to draw upon. And that when we have the energy of other people, it's so much easier. It's so much easier to focus, to concentrate, and we get energy from it. It's not that we lose our energy, we actually get more energy. So it's putting fuel in our spiritual tank, our emotional tank. Spiritually, we're creating merit. And, you know, we think that we can do things by ourselves, but it does take its toll until we develop many, many more realizations, it will take its energy. So how do we get more energy? It's by practicing as a group. And of course, in puja, that's when we ask all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to help us. So they're there all the time, but we forget. It's not that they forget us, we forget them. We forget that there are actually more Buddhas and Bodhisattvas than even sentient beings. So we have a puja and we invite them in. Actually, what we're doing is we're inviting them into our mind. They're already there. So it's really important that we have a ceremony that can do this, so that it becomes automatic. We become used to it. It becomes very quick and very powerful. So I have this great little thing to read from advice given by Ageshe Tenful to some students at a Dharma centre about the importance of doing pujas. And so he says, Tibetans say, where the Dharma flourishes, the Maras flourish. Because we live in a Dharma centre or we go to a Dharma centre, while our Dharma practice flourishes, we may also experience many interferences, such as being influenced by misleading friends, having obstacles come up of not being able to come to teachings, or having the inner obstacles of the disturbing emotions and doubt arise. So misleading friends, external ones or the internal ones. So I just found this really interesting, that when your Dharma practice is really, really strong, then it sometimes it can make others jealous, and it can kind of increase interferences because they can't stand it that you're progressing. So negative friends don't necessarily appear before us with horns and fangs. If this was the case, then we'd naturally stay away from negative friends and we'd naturally say no to the disturbing emotions, but some of them come very tricky as the interferences. So he says, when I was a monk in Serajay Monastery, we made daily prayers for the purpose of overcoming interferences to our studies. In addition, we made prayers in relation to the debating classes, which is also the purpose of eliminating obstacles. And we'd regularly ask for divinations of practices that we should do to clear interferences. But in spite of all of this, many monks did experience interferences. This is my own experience. Here in the West, there's not the support of a daily prayer group session like there is in the monasteries. And in spite of this, even though we only do 2 Guru Pujas and 1 Tera Puja a month, still not everyone participates. And since there are only these pujas, it's important that everyone come, as these are done not just for one's own purpose, but for the sake of all sentient beings, and therefore they're of great benefit. While living in a monastery, I saw that there were monks who came to the pujas who actually recited the words or sung, and the others who came but they didn't recite, they just sat there. However, I noticed that those who actually recited the words of the prayers did not experience many obstacles, whereas those who came but didn't recite the words of the prayers constantly experienced difficulties. If one actually does the pujas, one will be able to bring one's studies to completion and then to benefit others. In this way, one's time as a student will have been of great benefit. So, you know, who doesn't experience obstacles? And if it's as simple as just showing up to puja and singing, how amazing. So how do we make the whole singing enjoyable rather than terrifying? So one of the things is, if anyone's ever joined a choir, I haven't joined a choir, but I've seen this amazing documentary about the Choir of Hard Knocks, which is a choir in Sydney for all the homeless people. And so a whole lot of people with really terrible life circumstances and also no self-confidence and maybe no skill in singing whatsoever, but it didn't matter, because here you were, it was like the one thing that many of them had to look forward to create this beautiful harmony and energy. And it was like a balm. It was a balm to the mind. Anyway, so then they put on a concert at the Sydney Opera House and it was packed out and everyone had a ball, and it was a real highlight. So there is something about singing together that is fantastic. Also with our speech is the way that we interact with others. So we talked about this last week as well. It's only those really close to us that we interact physically with, usually. With our mind, that's private, but our speech, that's the bridge between us and others. And when we sing mantras or prayers, actually what we're doing, because it's breath that's we're breathing in the air from outside, and that air is coming into our body. We're actually, and if we're saying those mantras and those prayers, we're bringing the subtle body of the Buddhas into our body. The Sambhogakaya aspect of the Buddhas, which is the light body, and all of the mantras, the kind of like living beings, living enlightened beings, by actually singing these mantras, we're literally physically embodying the Buddha's wisdom. We're bringing it into our body. So it's a very profound kind of experience. And when we sing the tunes come from the Dakinis. So they're not just kind of a nice made up pop tune, but they actually come from the enlightened beings. And so they bless our nervous system physically. They bless our mind. They heal our nervous system and our chakras and all of the channels flowing through us, the subtle channels. So you can kind of think of it like, you know, in scary movies, they have the music and it's got that chord, the scary chord. And all, you know, they could just show a blank hallway and it's like, oh yeah, nothing's happening. You put that scary chord and then suddenly, oh my God, I'm terrified. And now I can't even go to the toilet because I'm too scared to go down my own hallway. So music had this incredibly powerful effect on us. There's also chords where they're edging towards a resolution. And then when the resolution comes and you get the harmony of the full chord, oh, it's just fantastic. It's liberating. So the same with the tunes like this, the tunes in puja from the Dakinis, they bless our channels and our chakras. Right. So hopefully that's given you enough of a rave of the many benefits of coming along to puja. What I wanted to do was just to put the screen share up, because here we have how to actually do it, how to do the singing. So, you know, a couple of years ago when I lost my voice and I had to have physio of how to get my voice back again, the voice coach at the hospital said, you have 3 places where the sound comes from in your body, and each place has to do an equal amount of work. So normally when we sing, it just all comes from the throat, and we use our throat, and in puja, after about 20 minutes, it's wrecked and we have a coughing fit. So what we have to do is use the 3 different places within our body, and this is perfect because it completely aligns with these 3 chakras of the Om Ahum, enlightened body, speech, and mind. So, you know, when we visualize those 3 syllables in our body, the seed of enlightenment, the seed of enlightened, of purified form, of enlightened speech, of completely cleansed mind, liberated mind. So when we're singing puja, it's kind of a way that we can make this a very deep meditation, is to experience those 3 places doing an equal amount of work. And what the experience will be is that your throat does less. And so I'll just kind of put up here on the screen share. So with the top part, the head, when we're singing, the inside of your mouth becomes like a box. There's resonance. The resonance happens within your mouth, and often we're really, really tight, especially if we're nervous. So there's a way of lifting your upper palate, and what it does is it makes everything sound really pretty, and it gives you a twang, is what it's called. So it makes it quite loud, and it doesn't get stuck in your mouth, but actually resonates outwards. You can tell that this is working when your nose starts itching, because your whole head is vibrating in puja from singing, and your nose gets really itchy. So this one, twang, you just kind of think of like Dolly Parton, that kind of beautiful, effortless sounding kind of resonance that comes out, that can also flow across mountains. And then at the throat does very little work. It has this flow where the sound comes out, and the throat is what actually finds the note, makes sure you're singing the right note. The great thing about being in puja, though, is that when you sing, even if you're tone deaf, it doesn't matter, because if there's enough people singing, your voice will just naturally go to the right note, so you don't have to worry about it. And then the stomach, so people often say sing from your stomach, but who knows what that means. But what it actually means is it's like a bellows, and you push the air out. So how you're normally talking, it goes, and then we run out of breath and we breathe in. So what the stomach does is, for the next few words before you breathe in, it just pushes, so you get more puff. And that's how you get more volume, not by yelling more in your throat, but by pushing from your stomach. So that's like the body part of us. So we have the head, the throat, and the body. And that way we're kind of embodying enlightened body, speech, and mind. Okay, so here we have the 21 Taras. We're going to do an experiment with the Tera Puja. And so up on the screen, I've got the short praise, just the one verse praise of Arya Tara. And what I'd like us to do is to just read through it together, just normally reading, and see how many lines you can get without having to breathe in. On I prostrate to the goddess, foe destroyer, liberating Lady Tara. Homage to Tare, saviouress, heroine, with Tutare dispelling all fears, granting all benefits with Ture. To her with sound so high I bow. Again, on I prostrate to the goddess, foe destroyer, liberating Lady Tara. Homage to Tare, saviouress, heroine, with Tutare dispelling all fears, granting all benefits with Ture. To her with sound so high I bow. So you can see you need to breathe, and it's a little bit chopping and changing. So now try it this way. Oh, my prostrate to the goddess, foe destroyer, liberating Lady Tara. Homage to Tare, saviouress, heroine, with Tutare dispelling all fears, granting all benefits with Ture. To her with sound so high I bow. So instead of just using our throat, now we're kind of doing a sing-song, and you'll notice you have way more breath. So let's do it together. Oh, my prostrate to the goddess, foe destroyer, liberating Lady Tara. Homage to Tare, saviouress, heroine, with Tutare dispelling all fears, granting all benefits with Ture. To her with sound so high I bow. See, it comes out much easier, doesn't it? So that's one thing, that whenever you're reading prayers, don't just read. Sing them. Sing song. Oh, my prostrate to the goddess, foe destroyer, liberating Lady Tara. Homage to Tare, saviouress, heroine, with Tutare dispelling all fears, granting all benefits with Ture. To her with sound so high I bow. So you just go da 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 for anything. And it means you have this beautiful flow, and you're engaging both sides of your brain, so it goes in much deeper than just reading. It's one of those neurological hacks, as well as a hack for keeping your voice. So that's the first bit. Now let's have a look. I'll just move myself up so I can actually see the words. Now, if you have a straw, now's the time to get the straw out. Now, if you don't have a straw, what you can do is get a pencil and the piece of paper, and wind the paper over the pencil, so you get a nice tight, and then see if you can get the pencil out and sticky tape it together. You might have to tuck it in. Okay. So you can put it in your mouth and talk through the straw like this. Okie dokie. So if you have the straw, talk through the straw like this. So what will happen as you're talking through the straw, this is how you get the experience of flow, and it also subtly lifts your upper palate, and you'll feel the resonance in your head because everything will get itchy. So let's read the first verse through the straw and then the second verse. Homage Tara, whose face combines 100 also moons at fullest, blazing with light rays resplendent as 1,000 star collection. Straw. Homage Krana Tathagata's actions triumph without limit, relied on by conquerors' children, having reached every perfection. So hopefully you can see how just by talking through the straw, singing through the straw for one verse, the next verse comes out really easily, and there's kind of this resonance in your head. So this is it's a really good way to warm up before puja, is to just sing all of your prayers through the straw for a bit. So that's one way of really helping with the flow and the resonance without straining. The other thing that you can do with either the straw or the pencil is put the pencil in your mouth and then just say all of your prayers over the pencil. So you may be laughing. If you're doing this, you may be laughing, but there's also a reason why you're laughing, because this is a neurological hack as well. So, you know, when you smile, the corners of your mouth go up, and smiling has this great neurological thing where it's two ways. So when you're feeling happy, you smile, but it goes the other way. When you smile, it tricks your brain to think you're feeling happy. So when you're feeling really down and depressed, one of the surefire ways to feel better is to stick a pencil in your mouth and just talk like this, because what that does is it forces the corners of your mouth up, and that tricks your brain into thinking you're happy. So it's not just because you're doing something silly, it's actually a neurological hack. So that's one thing, just makes you feel good. The other thing about this though, when you're talking over the pencil, is that you're lifting your upper palate. So when you lift your upper palate, it means you have a lot more resonance in your mouth, and it means that the words, the song grows in form, in body, and it comes out sounding really nice. Instead of being really stuck inside the mouth, it just flows out. So it's a great way to warm up. So let's do the next couple of verses. So first one with the pencil in the mouth, and the second verse we can take the pencil out. Home is filling with her Tara, whom desire direction and space, trampling with her feet the seven worlds, able to draw forth all beings. Home is worshipped by the all lords, Chakra, Agni, Brahma, Maru, honored by the hosts of spirits, sculptors, Gandharvas, Yakshas. Homies with her tret and pet sounds, destroying first magic diagrams, her feet pressing left out right in, blazing in a raging fire blaze. Homies to a very dreadful destroyer of Maria's champions, she with frowning lotus visage, who was slayer of all enemies. So hopefully you've got a lot more kind of volume coming out without straining. So it's not coming from your throat, it's actually coming from your mouth. So then the next thing that you can do from this then is to just, instead of taking a breath, to right at the end where you feel you need to take a breath, just do one more line by pushing your stomach in and pushing the words out, so that you're not actually losing any breath, but you're pushing the sound out. So let's do it again. Homage at our harder fingers, or don't have a fatal mudra, light right masses all excited, all directions will adorn her. Homage, she's so joyous, radiant, crown emitting garlands of light, mirthful laughing with tutare, subjugating Mara's devas. So there you go, you've got a whole verse without even having to draw breath. And then when you draw breath before the next verse, you don't have to go like this. You just take a little sip, a sip of air. So this way, especially with the Tara praises, it's really nice because it's a continuous kind of thing. And as you get into the zone, as well as you're inviting all the Taras for help, you're cleansing yourself and all sentient beings, you are physically embodying these praises by singing them, and they resonate in your body. And then to have the blessing also, because it's a tantric practice, then you can feel those 3 chakras, the head, the throat, and the whole body, your torso, resonating. And you can move the energy between them, and you can see where the energy gets stuck. Does it get stuck all up here? Does it get strained here? Is everything straining from here and nothing's coming from deeper, from the mind, this embodied part, really deep, the instinctual level? And you can move the energy through. And then you'll notice, if you've got a bit of a tickle coming, then you'll just relax your voice and have more coming from the head. Or you're going, oh my God, am I going to get to the end of the line? Push with the bellows of your stomach. Anyway, so I've been going on for a bit. Are there any questions? You can just push your space bar down and theoretically I should be able to hear you. Anything, questions, comments, how you're going? Okay, someone's in the chat. Okay, does the pitch have anything to do with throat strain? Yeah, so people will have a natural pitch, and actually I've found, I'm not sure if it's with guys, I'm not sure, but if I start too low, I will run out of puff and I'll get a tickle. It's much more sustainable if you start just a little bit higher. That said, I know quite a few women that naturally have quite a low speaking voice. So I've got quite a high speaking voice. Quite a few women have much lower, like their speaking voice might be down here like this. And then when they start singing, they'll suddenly go, homie, she able to summon all that guardians assembly. And it's like nobody could join in because it's way too high. So generally, how the level that you normally speak, that's the pitch that you'd have when you sing. Start from there and then you'll adjust it. If you find that you're quite breathy when you sing, it's a bit flowery, not like flowers, but flower like self-raising flower, and it comes out very breathy. Is she able to summon all earth guardians assembly? So all of the effort is coming from your throat. So the thing is that you try and sing actually without losing any air at all, just pushing from your stomach. And actually the way to do that is to not be shy, because many times we just sing very low down, and if we're singing very, very quiet, it's very breathy and it's all coming from the throat. Whereas if we sing from pushing from our stomach, it's not yelling from the throat, it's pushing from the stomach. It comes out with confidence and gusto, and it's like when you're saying to someone, hey. And we can only do that if we're not shy, if we're just happy to sing our heart out at puja. What else was there? Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure if you should try sing the same note as the umze. You try and follow the umze, the concert master. So you don't start before them, but you just come in whatever. So I've found over the years, it's really funny. In Lunbury Tamba Centre, we have this informal tradition that none of the Sangha can sing. So ever since I've been here like this time as a grown-up for 23 years, there's not been one single Sangha member that could hold a note or a tune or sing well in any way whatsoever. It's been absolutely hysterical. So that's just one of these things at Lunbury Tamba Centre. It's the lay people that can sing and the Sanghas can't do it. Doesn't matter. It's okay. They can come along and they can sing their hearts out in whichever way that they like. And what's happened for me is that it's forced me to be really focused on singing the tune and be strong enough that everybody else just instinctually falls into place, and it happens. So there's been some pujas where like everybody in the room has been tone deaf, and not only that, but they've possibly been singing different tunes from me. At the same time, I'm singing this mandala tune and they're sitting next to me singing some totally other mandala tune that they just decided they want to sing. And so I've learned how to actually lead a puja without focusing on anybody else's thing, just to be strong enough to bring everybody else into the river of my own singing. And that's really helpful, because then it means that everybody else that's tone deaf and can't hold a tune or whatever, it doesn't matter. Their voice just naturally follows. So I say it doesn't matter. You just sing loud, sing your heart out, and try and follow the umze, and it'll work. It'll really work. And that's what happens if you get enough people together. They all naturally fall into a harmony with each other that suits your own voice. Yeah, so the other thing too, it's like when the umze falls off, then everybody falls off. So if I kind of cough, or if I have to breathe at somewhere where there's not a natural pause and I stop singing, then everybody comes to a shuddering halt. So I've had to kind of learn about that and try and kind of find places where you can breathe in the puja. It's kind of like if one person falters, then everybody else falls off, and it's because we haven't found our own flow yet. And really that just comes from practice and letting yourself enjoy it. So is there a particular puja that's best for beginners? Well, I'll tell you what, there's in terms of coming to puja and having a really meaningful experience, Medicine Buddha Puja is the best one, because it's all in English, but there's very little singing. So you don't get that emotional, depth to it in terms of being moved by the music. But in terms of engaging in a puja, that's the really best one, especially if you're kind of a bit iffy about ritual, makes you a bit uncomfortable. Tera Puja, so there's one coming up this Friday, is great because you get to chant the tunes. There's the mandala offerings, but the Tara praises like these ones, we sing in English. So we know what we're saying, but you get into the flow of chanting and you feel that resonance and you feel your body vibrating and being healed just by singing the praises together. The ones that I find are amazing are the epic Guru Puja. So the epic ones are between, say, 2 to 3 hours long, and it's all the incredibly beautiful tunes from the Dakinis. And just singing them, if you actually sing them, some of them can be quite challenging to do and to have them build up as they're supposed to. But if you do, something happens in your mind. You just flip over into this other reality and everything changes. So Guru Puja, in terms of being blessed by the tunes, that's the one to come to. So, and there is a Guru Puja, an epic Guru Puja coming up in May sometime on a Sunday afternoon. So you'll be able to come along to that, and it won't be like late night kind of anything, and you'll be able to have that experience of it. And because everybody's at home by themselves, you can sing your heart out, and you won't have to be self-conscious. All right, so I have a little poll now that I'd like to run. just for fun, because I like doing little polls at the end of these Dharma in Pyjamas. So this one, I'm not sure if you can see the poll. Sometimes people can and sometimes people can't. So I'll just read it out. So the poll is, now that you know how to sing your heart out or sing your heart in, what's the verdict? Number 1, my kingdom for a straw. Okay, I might try going to puja after all. Oh, so that's how to avoid a coughing fit. Oh, the great thing about the speech blessing now is that I can sing like no one's listening. Oh, I get it. Puja is to fuel to top up the tank. Or, wow, so who are the Dakinis and how do I meet them? Okay, and everybody's voted. You can vote several times if you want. So I know Jeanette, there's several of you there. You can cast a few more votes if you want. And end polling, share results. The winner is, oh, I get it. Puja is to fuel to top up the tank. Fantastic. How we get to meet the Dakinis is at puja. That's where we actually get blessed. Just like you can hear about a good song and then you can hear the good song. It's a big difference, isn't it? Reading about a song and actually hearing it. So at puja, you actually get the experience, and it is transformative because it's a lot more than just words. It's our whole experience. So thank you so much for coming, and I hope I've enthused you. When you're coming to the pujas online, you know, bring your straw and sing some of the puja through the straw at the beginning, and it'll warm your whole voice up. And when you're studying or singing around the house or a little bit sad, just stick that pencil in your mouth and sing over the pencil. And so I think it's I'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Thank you, everybody.